Yo, what is going on guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Today's video going to be going through Siege in a really advanced strategy guide. So you're going to be going through every single map in the Siege. There's only 4 of them, so quite simple to be honest. Going through comps, going through competitive strategies as well, so talking about bans and whatnot, but mainly going to be talking about kind of ladder, helping you guys push on Siege, helping you guys understand the game a lot more. So every single weekend I'll be hopefully doing a guide. Got a lot more time on my hands on the weekends, so definitely can be doing better videos for you guys. So yeah, hopefully you guys will learn a lot from this video. So let's jump straight into it. Okay, so I thought I'd start off with the first thing that runs through my mind as soon as I go into a Siege game is how to collect the first bolt, and can you get it faster than the opponent. So within this meta in Siege, I'll go through comps in a little while, but basically with BB you definitely want to be going for that bolt first, and a lot of times you probably want to be letting the enemy BB hit you first. So I made a mistake. The BB beat me to the bolt, I hit it into the bolt, so then she collected it. So I mean, it's all about getting that first bolt, and the kind of thoughts I want to be going through your head. So when you first start off, you want to be checking where the bolt spawns. Okay, so firstly guys, let's talk about comps. I'll be going through every single map, showing you guys some gameplay and the best comps and the best brawlers. But as you can see here, I've kind of put together a tier list. So the first one obviously being some assembly required. It's a lot of a different map compared to the other 3 Siege maps, but in my opinion, Sprout, BB, Daryl going to be the best comp in this mode, and definitely we want the best Siege brawlers throughout every single map. And then as you can see, going down the list, every single brawler kind of categorizing how well they're played on Siege. I definitely don't recommend using the D tier brawlers. All of them are absolutely awful. Okay, so as I said before, we have a BB in our comp, so she's going to be going over to that bolt. And then for the enemy team, they haven't got a BB, so if you haven't got a BB, just basically whoever spawns close to the bolt, just go for it, or the fastest. I mean, it's not really a lot of fast brawlers that you can play besides BB, because you don't want to be playing the likes of Crow and Mortis. They're really bad inside of Siege. So yeah, at the moment, the way Siege is played, every single map you want a mid brawler, so that's definitely got to be the likes of Sprout, the likes of Barley, and the likes of Jean. I mean, on ladder you can maybe substitute Brock, not on this map but other Siege maps, and Penny. But they're going to be the main mid brawlers and going to be the 3 most dominant by far. And then for the lane brawlers, you can go a couple that are going to be really good. So you've got Daryl. Daryl is definitely my favourite Siege brawler. I tend to play Daryl out of my teammates, but yeah, Daryl's going to be really good in Siege. Really enjoy playing him. But then you've got Primo. So a lot of people may question Primo, but Primo is going to be a really solid pick. He counters basically every single tank. So Frank, obviously Primo hard counters Frank. Primo has a really good matchup against Rosa, has a really good matchup against Daryl, because as soon as you got super with Primo, literally no brawlers can really touch you. You've got to kind of just wait for Primo to just jump in and just kind of hope you kill him really. And then even like Jean, if you know the enemy team's going to be going at Jean, Primo's a really good pick for that, especially because you can't pull a Primo with a jump, so it's just really good presence with Primo for sure. So really underrated pick, and you actually see that come out a lot in competitive. But the way you want to be playing this map, personally I really like a Barley or Sprout. They're going to be much better than Jean on this map in my opinion, just because there's a lot of walls and there's a lot of space to shoot over. So definitely pick one of the throws in my opinion. Now let's jump into a bit of strategy into Siege. So the first round in Siege is going to be really important, especially on this map. I feel like it's more important than others. You really want to get that first spot. So getting them first few bolts, getting the control. That's why you want to use the 2 tanky brawlers to pick up the bolts. I mean, it's carnage inside the middle. A lot is going on, and that's why I like the BB and Daryl combinations. But it's kind of all about the first bot in my opinion. So they have the first bot. I want to be taking it down with Barley's gadget's going to be really good on defense. Daryl's going to be amazing on defense with the high DPS. With his shield that can roll onto the boss and tank a lot. And then his gadget is going to be really good against the boss as well. So once you've used all your ammo, best bet is to be using that Daryl gadget right on top of the boss, and you'll be doing around 4k damage. So definitely really good. But yeah, after you've, say for example in this game we lost the first bot, you're going to be fighting for control. You kind of want to be getting that second bot and then the third bot. But if you get the first bot, so like the enemy team, it's all about keeping the control in my opinion, unless you've got a Barley. Barley's going to be the main reason why you kind of 1 or 2 push people. So definitely if you've got a Barley, the way you want to be playing it is staying behind the kind of tanky brawlers and just chipping away at the safe, but keeping control. You don't want to go all in on the first push unless the other team just like completely die on the push for whatever reason. And then for the second round, it's kind of a lot situated. It's hard to talk about a lot of different things because there's just so many different situations and so many different things to talk about within Siege. But it's kind of one of them things where you've got to play a lot of Siege to know what to do and when to do it. But okay, so the tier list for Junk Park, you're going to be seeing BB, Daryl and Sprout becoming the best comp for this map. No surprise really. And then the same kind of brawlers in tier A, and then the same kind of brawlers for tier B again. You're going to be seeing a lot of the same patterns within Siege. And one big thing that people might see here is Butler in tier C. So he is a tanky brawler, and definitely used to be really good inside of the game, probably about 4 months ago now. But Ball's going to be the worst tank by far. He gets countered by literally every single tank, so that's why you're going to be seeing that lower than the other tanks. Okay, so Junk Park, one of my favourite Siege maps. So this is one of the maps that actually favour Primo quite a bit, because you can just sit behind the wall and a lot of times the enemies can't really do anything, especially with Primo's gadget. As you see here, I just completely hard counter BB, so it's going to be a really easy matchup for me. And as long as you keep using them gadgets, keep stunning them, and you're able to build up your super really fast if you're doing that. And then Sprout's just going to be by far the best mid inside of this map. And then Jackie's going to be really good. Both teams using Jackie here. Definitely don't blame them for using Jackie. Jackie's going to be good. But in my opinion, definitely would have preferred a BB or a Daryl on the lane. Just because Jackie don't really do a lot of damage to the Siege bot, so in comparison, Daryl's going to be doing a lot of damage. I mean, Primo has a high DPS, that's why I enjoy playing him, but on this map especially, it's probably one of Sprout's best maps, because as you can see, through the mid, left section and right section, Sprout can place his walls, blocking the Siege bot and making the Siege bot just completely like freeze and just completely like turn around and go to the next available open area. So that's why Sprout's going to be so broken inside of this map. He can just block off so much of the map, provide so much pressure. He's a really good brawler inside of this map. As you can see inside of this gameplay, that Sprout just blocked the wall there, which is buys us a lot of time. Then you've got a Jackie on defense who can use a super and shield and just waste a lot more time. But the way you want to be playing this map especially, but a lot of times you need to be staggering your deaths. So if you do lose the first bot or the second bot, you want to be staggering your deaths. So what I mean by that, they're more tanky brawlers. So as I said before, you could be using the 2 kind of tanky brawlers or kind of aggro brawlers, and then you have the support brawler. So the tanky brawlers are going to be going against the bot straight away, getting that bot down as soon as possible. And then the next tanky brawler is going to be doing the same thing. So as long as you're staggering the deaths, so you get a good respawn on defense and getting down that bot, you're going to be good. Let's talk a bit more about strategy on this map. So I need to highlight for this map especially, it's really important getting that first bot, just because it's kind of hard to go all in on this map. You want to be keeping the control as much as possible. Just because of that wall there's not really a lot of good brawlers that have a wall break, except for Gene that can destroy that wall. So especially on this map, aiming to get every single bot as the main objective as well. When I play with Semantic and Tom, we want to be getting the first one and the third one, just because especially on this map, it's all about the last bot. You want to be getting that last bot, just because then you can go all in. You can kill all the enemies and get a lot of damage. That's kind of the main theme with competitive. You see a lot of teams winning when they've got that final bot, just because, as I said, you can just literally go all in and collapse on the enemy. Whereas if you're going to be doing that on the first round or the second round, it's going to be really risky, and if you don't get the push off, and then the enemy team's just going to be able to push up and get the last round really easily. But there's just so many different scenarios in Siege. In this game specifically, it looks like we're going to be losing at this one as well. So we're actually in a decent position. We've got 5 bolts for the next round, 6 bolts actually, so 6-1. So in this position, we only need to collect a few bolts going into the next round. I believe 8 to 9 bolts do spawn in the final round. So literally we need to get like 2 bolts. It shouldn't be too hard at all. With Gene especially, you can pull enemies into that Ike zone consistently, getting really easy kills. I do love the combination of Jean and Daryl. It's not as good as it used to be once, just because of how prevalent Sprout is in the meta, but we're going to be winning that round. Basically, in a perfect scenario, they actually did a lot of damage, so it's kind of going to be hard for us to get the damage in, especially with a Sprout. He can keep blocking the lanes off like he does here, and you can just see the enemy team, especially on the final bolt, they waste a lot of time. It's really hard for us to get a lot of damage just because that bot is taking so long to get into the zone. They've just got so many different brawlers preventing us to get inside. Okay, so the nuts and bolts tier is going to be kind of the same as Junk Park. As you can see, the map is kind of similar, so you're going to be seeing the same brawlers at the top of the list. As I said before, it does work quite differently to the other map, but in brawler choices, not going to vary a lot. Okay, so for nuts and bolts, I really enjoy this siege map. It's probably my favourite one because you can play so many different brawlers on this one. So kind of a thing to do, especially if your team has a Jean. You want to be going mid, helping one of the tanks collect that first bolt, and all about building your supers up first. This is a really good map for Jean. Want to be pulling as many enemies into the Ike as possible. There's just so many choke points for Jean. Definitely is the strongest map in my opinion. But also I really enjoy playing Daryl on this map. It's going to be really good. So a tie in this one. Kind of the feeling for this one, you want to either completely destroy the enemies with control and collect as many bolts as possible, hopefully winning this one. But I mean, as long as you're making it close, even if you lose the round, you're going to be having a really strong boss for the next round as long as you defend it well. Not going to be too much of an issue. For the enemy team in their position, they've got 5 bolts for the next round. It's not going to be the end of the world if they can defend this for sure. When you get the siege bot, you want to be staying alive for as long as possible. You don't want to be dying on the push. I mean, in that scenario, that's really unfortunate. Jean still had a gadget. I mean, Jackie on defense as well is going to be really hard because she just does insane damage on single units. But we didn't do a lot of damage on that push there, but we're still only down by 4. But yeah, you want to be staying alive as long as possible behind that siege bot. Definitely don't take any risks. You want to be just literally run back and stay as far behind as the siege bot as possible. I mean, the only brawler I recommend going in is diving on the safe with on the Ike with, sorry, is the likes of Daryl, the likes of Ball if you ever choose Ball for some reason, the likes of Primo. Go straight into Ike. So they have got the last bolt, but as you see there, Daryl going to be rolling across the lake. Well, that's me. Getting a lot of damage onto the Ike. That's going to be winning us the game there. I really enjoy doing that type of play. And then I get a really nice respawn. I have the invincible bubble helping me, so I can absolutely obliterate the enemies there. A really good defense. Okay, let's jump into the last siege map now. So this is going to be Factory Rush. A really good siege map again, and you'll see the theme. These siege maps have been in the game for so long. Really solid maps. Definitely enjoy playing them in competitive. But this one is a lot more open than the generic siege map. Going to be seeing a lot more range brawlers, so the like of Brock, the likes of Pam. But we're going to be a really good pick on here as well. Penny, Piper. You're going to be seeing a lot of different brawlers coming into the meta on this map. Okay, just going to be giving you the thoughts on Factory Rush. There's definitely a lot of different strategies on this map. This map's a lot more unique than the normal map, just because you've got a lot of space to work around. You've got a lot of different strategies. You've got the dive strategy, you've just got the control strategy. Basically you want to be getting every single bot and then get the last one to win the game. You've got a lot of different strategies, but the main one, as you see, it's a mirror matchup. The Brock, Pam, BB. The BB versus BB, it's all about collecting the bolts, trying to get that first swing off more than the opponent. Drake's going to be beaten cursed in that aspect for the first one. And then the Brock one, it's all about building up your supers, staying alive for as long as possible. A lot of people say you want to break the walls as fastly as possible. I tend not to agree on that one. With Brock, what you want to be doing is getting a lot of value with his supers, trying to get that super for when the bolt pushes up. You don't want to just be breaking the walls straight away. I'll tell you that now is the main reason why you don't want to just open it point blank. In case you lose a round, then the enemy siege bot's going to be coming up the map a lot faster, so it can be really bad in that aspect. So I mean, I died on offense there, which is going to be costing us in this game. You want to be staying alive, especially as Brock. He's the most vital part of this comp. You can't allow Brock to die. So now, as you see, they're going to get a really solid defense because I simply died. I can't break the walls up, and Brock with Incendiary just does so much damage. So I really let my team down on that aspect, and then I'll get a nice kill on some Bentley there. So now they have a 4-bolt lead. Curse is going to be able to whack both of us there and completely win the game for his team. So that's going to be rough on our end. Definitely the main strategy for this one using Brock. You want to be keeping it alive as long as possible. Break out the walls when you got the opportunity, but don't forget, you don't want to just break it with the possibility of losing the round. You want to break it knowing that you've won the round, so you can get really nice damage onto the Ike. So as you can see in the next gameplay, they have opted for the Primo instead of the BB. Kind of a solid pick. Primo does counter BB really well. They probably went against the wrong matchups just because Primo's not going to have a good time whatsoever against the Brock. The tanky brawlers, you're going to be wanting to stay behind the little grasses in between the L-shaped walls. You want to be just kind of sitting behind there, keeping control. A lot of times it can be really frustrating. Even though you're not going to be doing a lot, you're just going to be standing in walls. It's just a presence on the field, knowing that as soon as you push into one of the choke points, you're going to get pushed from that tank and probably going to die. So literally just sitting inside them bushes, keeping control. It's really good for the tanks. As you can see, I'm playing really well now. I've destroyed the walls as well. And my teammate's going to do a good job of keeping control. I kind of messed up there. I tried to super Pam to try and get my super back. Maybe I should have just supered Brock to keep control. But anyway, my teammate's going to be a really good job. The Pam turret's especially going to be coming in clutch in these games. With the Pam star power, it makes it so you can throw the turret behind a wall, and then enemies are going to be taking damage for 500. So it's going to be a really good star power on this map especially. And then BB, you want to be always using the home run star power, collecting them bolts as much as possible. But as you can see on the push, Pam and Brock together just going to be absolutely lethal. You can just take out any enemies trying to defend the bots. Okay, let's talk about one important thing about Siege I haven't really mentioned too much yet, is diving onto the Ike safe. So this combo especially that we brought out is going to be a triple tank. So as you can see, Daryl with his super can literally just dive onto the Ike. Primo with super going to be really good diving, and so is Bull. Really tanky options, going to make it really easy to collect the bolts, especially on this map. But talking about dive specifically, you can dive on many maps, to be honest. It's really scenario based, so the kind of way you want to be diving onto the enemy Ike is maybe when you've, like, for example, lost the last siege bot or something, and you need to get damage and want to get that quick respawn. Diving onto the Ike can be a really effective, because you're going to get damage onto the enemy Ike, and then you're going to give it a really good respawn to defend the enemy boss incoming. So it's going to be a really valuable strategy. As you can see, Semantics is just going to be running down the left hand side. They're going to have to come back for him, and now Cursed and KC are coming back, and so is some Bentley to try and defend. And now there's going to be bolts in the open, so we can just collect some and get the round. So a really good strategy. They know they have to come back, as we're going to do so much damage. Daryl, when he rolls in, does at least 30%. All the same, and Primo the same with his El Fuego star power. So they just can't afford to let any of us dive in. It's definitely good to know how much damage different brawlers do at diving. Definitely recommend watching Kara's time to know exactly. But kind of for pointers, you want the tanky brawlers to dive in. They're really good. And then you've got Penny with Penny turret and really good at diving. Brock with Incendiary star power with his gadget. He can do around, I think it's around 23% at least, from shooting 3 times with Incendiary and then jumping back out. He has 3 gadgets, so I mean you can literally just run down either lane and completely destroy the Ike on your own if possible. But definitely diving a really viable strategy. You want to do it in a very clever way. So at the minute, 10-4, we're going to be winning that last boss. And as I said before, the kind of strategy when you're losing, you just want to be going in and diving on the safe, on the Ike, getting as much damage as possible. As you can see by Code Magic here, they're just going to, all of them just completely commit to getting us on offense there. So we have to spend a lot of time on defense. We're not going to have enough time to go and attack. So really well played from them. Okay, one of the last tips I thought I'd show you guys. This kind of just bases off how experienced you are at Siege and just the game in general. It requires a lot of just game sense and knowledge, but the kind of way you want to be starting the game and getting your matchups, you just want to know what kind of brawlers counter you. As soon as you see the enemy side, you want to be deciding which way you want to be going, which brawler you'll be best against. And as I said, this will be a very, very in-depth. I could do a video on this, to be honest, just literally talk about every single brawler, which brawlers you want to be facing, which brawlers you don't want to be facing. So for example, in this game, Brock is good against all 3 brawlers, so I can go literally any lane. The same with Penny. Penny's going to be good against all 3. But for Penny, you don't really want to be facing the Brock kind of thing, so you want to be either facing the Pam or B. But it's all matchup dependent in Siege especially. You want to be knowing which enemies you can face better off against. Okay guys, that's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you really enjoyed this guide. It's literally my first guide, so you're going to have to bear with me. A lot of improvement is going to have to be done for sure, but it's just the first of many guides I tend to do every single weekend, and hopefully when I get more time I can start doing these guides every few days to help you guys improve. I really want to help you guys. A lot of requests for different brawlers, different modes, so definitely going to be doing them every weekend, as I said before. As I said, let me know in the comment section below what improvements that can be done. Literally criticize me any way possible. I'll take all criticism as feedback, because at the end of the day I just want to improve and make the best content. So definitely let me know how to improve in the comment section below. Do all that good stuff. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.